What's going on, TikTok? Hopefully everybody's doing good. Like I said, I'm doing my best to go live at least once a week. Forgive my voice for whatever reason. Like it's just because I guess it's a change of season. It's messing with my voice and whatnot. So, anyways, so it might be a little cracked, but we'll see what happens. But anyways, so this article that I came across yesterday talked about 10 brilliant investments that marked Nas's evolution as a venture capitalist. Nas is one of the greatest rappers on the planet, but he's actually one of the greatest venture capitalists on the planet as well. And he doesn't talk about it, he doesn't brag about it, and that's why I vibe with him even more so because he's always been a humble soul and a humble spirit about his. But he's always held his down in the held his down in the in the rap room, and now he's holding it down in the boardroom. So nothing but love and nothing but respect to the great Nas. But anyways, let's get back to the article. There we go. All right, cool. So from Queensbridge, New York, Queens, New York. Shout out New York, and he has a great investment portfolio. But I'm going to read the article verbatim. Long revered as a lyrical legend, and he is, Nas, has quietly built a reputation and is one of hip-hop's most strategic and forward-thinking moguls. Absolutely. His journey into entrepreneurship began early, taking on an executive role with the launch of Ill Will Records during the late 90s, having the groundwork for his business empire. And that's the thing, like, before I even go forward, Nas has always done a great job in putting his people on. He never forgot where he came from. And his whole thing was, if you're going to be around him, you're going to either evolve or you're going to disappear. And the people that are still around him are the ones that evolved, and the ones that didn't disappeared, whether it was for good reasons or bad reasons, but they are gone. But anyways, his branding savvy shined through his partnerships with Willie Esco and Hennessy, the latter of which he continues to serve as a cultural ambassador. Nas's true power move came with the creation of Queensbridge Ventures, a venture capital firm that positions him as a formidable investor in the startup world. Now, before I go forward, last year, not this year, but summer 2024, I didn't realize will.i.am is actually a great venture capital investor as well, specifically in Silicon Valley. Specifically, he utilizes the money that he makes from touring with the group, the Black Eyed Peas, to invest in different startup companies. He doesn't even invest his money into the stock market. He actually just uses his money to invest in different venture capital startup companies and whatnot, and takes the equity out of those investments. And that's the thing about a lot of artists. They've become much more smarter, much more business investor savvy, and that's why they're able to still live on and do whatever they have to do. Case in point, 50 Cent and Jay-Z, whether they like it or not, is irrelevant, because they're not just making a living through their music. They're just doing music to have fun. Like even like when 50 Cent was like, and I saw him at Invest Fest last year, and he said, he went on tour in order for him, for him to make money, because people tell him, well, you don't have any new music out, you can't go on tour. But legends never die, and the legends, when somebody actually has real good music, they can still perform until the day that they die. Case in point, Rolling Stones, Aerosmith. The list goes on and on. So 50 Cent, bet on himself, went on tour, made his money. Then he started creating TV shows and making movies and things of that nature. And now he has his own studios down in Shreveport, Louisiana. Shout out to Louisiana. So once again, it's always my motto is always make money moves that live bro like a fool, because these people made money, but they didn't just show off. They actually invested the money in different brands. Master P still relevant to this day because of that. The list goes on and on. So many of music moguls, specifically hip hop moguls, are still relevant to this day in today's world for one reason, because they're able to utilize the money that they made making music and put it into other ventures and go from there. To quote Scarface, there's no real money in the music business anymore. So what's the point of making music like that? Because the days are gone of people going into stores and buying CDs. Majority of the time, people make money. Majority of their music from selling merchandise, selling anything else besides music, and going on tour, performing at shows and whatnot, and then still selling things at those shows. That's where the money is in the music industry, and that's why. That's why you even see, like, when a person like Nas makes music, it's because he just loves doing it. He's a venture capitalist now, so therefore, same thing with 50 Cent. He's a venture capitalist / businessman. So why does he need to worry about making music? I'll leave it at that. All right. Rick Ross, the list goes on and on. All right. So through QV, which is known as Queenbridge Ventures, QV, Nas backed early stage investments in companies that have since exploded in value, making him a quiet force in the tech and finance industry. He continues to diversify with mass appeal, revitalizing the media brand into a multi-faced content company. Most recently, Nas played a key role in Resorts World's New York City's successful $5 billion bid to bring a casino to Queens, a landmark project that further cements his business legacy. He's bringing something back to the community and he's making money moves all at the same time. Whether you agree with it or not, it's irrelevant because he's making the moves. All right, so with over a decade of strategic investments and portfolio that bridges culture and capital, Nas has evolved from rap icon to generational wealth architect. Here are the 10 brilliant investments that Nas has, and because after I talk about these investments, and let me know what you guys think in the comment section, then I'm going to call it a night because I got other things to do. All right, so first one is Ring Camera. All right, after rebranding from its original name, Doorbot, to Ring, as we know it today, in 2013, the tech company basically got funding from Nas, whose Queenbridge Ventures put $4.5 million into the company, among other early adapters. Fast forward to 2018, when Amazon bought Ring for $1 billion and Nas' initial investment yielded $40 million, one of the more notable flips by an artist in hip-hop history. All right. Now, this is another one. Now, I didn't even read this article because this is amazing. I don't follow artists like that, but I just think this is amazing that he's doing this quietly. He doesn't, once again, when you make moves in this life, you don't have to shine. You just do it and you move forward with your life. All right. Coinbase. And I utilize Coinbase, but he says after funding Queensbridge Venture, one of Nas's first forays into the world of stocks and IPO was his role in helping fund cryptocurrency behemoth Coinbase that same year. Joining group that included Kevin Durant, Ben Horowitz, and Union Square Ventures, Nas is believed to have ranked in between 41 to 200 million from his investment, which was between 100,000 and 500,000. All right, his investment was 100,000 to 500,000, and then basically he got back 41 and $206 million from the investment. All right. As of 2025, Coinbase is valued at $85 billion to $100 billion. Beautiful. Up next, we have Dropbox. I know what Dropbox is. Never utilized. Well, I've utilized it once for other people, but I've not really utilized it for myself. But his investment portfolio began to expand by 2014 as he had already cast his net around multiple promising tech startups, one of them being popular cloud-based storage system Dropbox. The rapper's stock in Dropbox ballooned in 2018 after the company went public with a $10 billion valuation. All right, SeatGeek. 2014 saw Nas Network another profitable investment with his inclusion in SeatGeek's Series B financing round, which garnered the company, founded in 2009, $35 million in funds. In addition, Nas' other members in the round of investors included Carmelo Anthony, shout out to him, Peyton and Eli Manning, Shane Battier, Mike Dunleavy Jr., then Boston Celtics co-owner Wade Groshbeck, and more. I think I butchered the name, but I did my best. As of March 2025, SeatGeeks holds a valuation of approximately $1.26 billion. Gotta love it. Once again, it goes to show that it's not about how hard you work, it's about how much money you have and how much access to capital you can get and how much you invest your money, regardless of who's in the White House, governor's house, or mayor's house. All right. I've been saying that for years now, and reading this proves me right. I love it. Lyft. All right, amid the next company, Lyft. Amid the ride-sharing words between Lyft and other competitors during the 10s, Nas and Queensbridge Ventures bet big on the company, which paid off big in the long term when it came to the company of Lyft. While the exact amount of Nas's investment into Lyft or his return haven't been basically publicized, his involvement in the company's growth and the foresight it displayed was further evidence of his business acumen. All right, Robinhood. What's up, Robinhood? another brokerage investment company. Popular brokerage website, Robinhood was an early target of Queensbridge Ventures, helping fund the startup with a $13 million investment alongside Snoop Dogg, Jared Leto, Index Ventures, and Howard Lansdowne in 2014. Several years later, escrow landed a seismic payday after the company's initial, escrow being Nas, company's initial public offering, IPO, in July 2021. Robinhood remains a force in a digital financial space, boasting a market capitalization of around $120 to $129 billion as of last month, October 2025. Make money moves a liberal like a fool. Casper Sleep. Nas's involvement in Casper Sleep may not have mirrored the windfall gained from his other ventures, but is still a noteworthy inclusion on his portfolio. Placing capital in the company as part of a series of funding that took place as recently as 2018, Nas's leap of faith in Casper Sleep is a testament to his willingness to take calculated risks, not only musically, but financially. You know what they say, no risk, no reward. All right. So Landier, his QV streak of sound investing continued with its founder's contribution to 6.5 million series, a funding round for Lander cloud-based audio post-production software in 2016. Teaming up with a group of fellow investors, including Cirque du Soleil founders Guy La Liberté and Daniel Gutier, Warner Music Group, Real Ventures, YUL Ventures, plus 8 private equity, plus 8 private equity firms. And Nas and his cohorts believed in this company was deserving as the tech company accrued $26 million in Series B round funding in 2019. In addition, Lander is reportedly bringing in close to $15 million in annual revenue, and the potential for that figure is basically only going to increase. I mean, at the end of the day, this is why, real G's move in silence. And, that's why I always laugh at the people that's online. It's always bragging about stuff. It's like the real power plays are the ones that you don't see or hear about until later. You know what I mean? But what do I know? Mass Appeal Media. In 2013, Nas made a splash with a hefty investment in both Genius and Mass Appeal Media, two ventures that doubled as passion projects tied to his love for arts. And he always had love for the arts. I mean, I remember that one song he made, I Know I Can, was basically talking about Save the Music, because at the time, I believe federal government spending was being cut when it came to the music and arts programs and whatnot. And at the end of the song, he said, Save the Music. But anyways, among the first artists to have the lyrics verified on Rap Genius prior to the company's rebranding. Nas has used Mass Appeal as a vehicle to drive his creative endeavors and interests, particularly through its musical vertical. This includes the label's ongoing Legend Has It series, which has presented releases from Mobb Deep, shout out to them, and rest in peace to Prodigy, Ghostface Killer, Raekwon, Slick Rick, and so many more. All right, next, Sweet Chick. Never heard of this company, but hey, Sweet Chick, I like it. New York-based eatery. No, that's why I don't go to New York. I'm more of a West Coast kind of guy. New York-based eatery, Sweet Chicks, is a star Power Rose. Shout out to New York. I got family in New York and Connecticut and Jersey. Power Rose in 2015 with the announcement that Nas has joined the fold, jumping on board as an investor in the brand. What soon followed were additional Sweet Cheek outposts across the city. One in Brooklyn the year after, and another location arriving at the rapper's home borough, Queens, in 2019. The restaurant, which routinely adds custom items to its ever-expanding menu, received $5 million in Series 8 funding in 2022. So at the end of the day, I have to commend Nas. Shout out to my boy Troy. If it wasn't for Troy, I wouldn't even know who Nas was. Back when we were in middle school and high school, he put me on to Nas. First, I was late to Nas as a hip-hop fan. The first album I got from him was I Am, even though he had albums before that. But the fact that he's become a venture capitalist, one thing I could say, growing up in New York, if you have the right contacts and whatnot, and if you're in the right circles, you can have a different mindset outside of just being a rapper and, and things of that nature. And he actually did a good job of, once again, it goes to show when you have good relationships with people and you're not going out of your way to be a total douchebag and whatnot, you can make some money moves in this life and whatnot, especially if he made, from a kid from the projects, making the big in the entertainment industry, not falling flat on his face in the entertainment industry like so many people unfortunately have. And then being able to have a different mindset outside of just making great songs as he's done, making great albums as he's done, one of the best storytellers ever, all right, one of the best lyricists ever. But actually, getting in rooms with people of a different mindset in order for him to become his own shark, shout out to the show, Shark Tank, to be able to be a venture capitalist and invest into making calculated risks into companies that obviously have made him much more profitable and whatnot, building generational wealth for his family, himself, and et cetera and so forth. So shout out to him. If any New Yorkers are watching, shout out to the Northeast. You know what it is. And hopefully, if you're watching, do the great 3 free things. Like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully you guys have a great day. Check out my YouTube channels, Larry's Anything Goes LLC. Check out Patterson No Properties LLC. Do the great 3 free things. Like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. Make money moves regularly, bro. Like Paul is saying in Spanish. Bienvenido a la vida. Welcome to the life. I'm out.